Alright guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another video on the channel. So there's been a ton of talk and rumors on the internet lately about people that have been speculating about Cole Caufield and the possibility of an offer sheet there. And at first when I saw these rumors, I was thinking, okay, you know what, they do this with about every player, but I was reading into it and there's been a ton of videos talking about it, so I just had to come on here and give my thoughts on what I think is going to happen come next season. And, with the Habs, this is a very interesting situation because, as we all know, they've been in this exact place before with Jesperi Kotkaniemi. A couple seasons back, Jesperi Kotkaniemi got signed by the Carolina Hurricanes, and now he's playing over there. He got signed for $6 million, 3 years, I think it was. So, yeah, pretty interesting stuff, and it really proves that stuff like this is actually possible of happening. So, the Montreal Canadiens are going to want to avoid having to deal with the same thing regarding Cole Caufield because, man, this guy's a goal-scoring machine, and I'm sure a ton of teams would be willing to give him a lot of money if the Habs opt to not extend him as soon as possible, because I think that's the main thing here, and we're going to be getting into it in this video here, guys. Thank you guys so much for all the support on the recent videos. It means a lot to me. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Like the video, and for question of the day, do you think Cole Caufield has a possibility of getting offer sheeted? Why or why not? I'd love to know your thoughts. But anyways, guys, without further ado, let's actually get right into it here. Now, for me, I do think that Cole Caufield will get signed sooner rather than later because I think that's the only way this is possibly going to work here. I mean, I could see it happening as soon as Christmas. And honestly, man, if the Habs don't opt to do that, I think it's the stupidest decision ever because that really increases the chances that, an offer sheet would actually take place. And, it's a really big time thing, and if they do think that they have more time than they actually do, they're going to run out of it, and then before you know it, teams are going to be calling, and it's just not going to be a good scene there. You don't want to lose this player, honestly, guys. I think that Cole Caufield, above any other player on the Montreal Canadiens, is probably the most valuable on the team. I know that might be a bit of a hot take so early in his career, but man, really, to see what this player can actually grow into, he is probably the most valuable, other than the exception of a guy like Nick Suzuki or something like that. That's actually a good debate in the comment section below. Who do you think is the most valuable player currently on the Montreal Canadiens? Nick Suzuki, Cole Caufield. I'll even throw in Juraj Slafkovsky in there because the guy, we don't even know what that beast is going to turn into. But yeah, right now, I think that Caufield has shown a lot of promise to be a 40, 50-plus goal scorer at some point in his career. I really think that's possible. So honestly, man, the Montreal Canadiens better not screw this up and let this guy just dip. Because ultimately, man, if they do, then, you've lost a really good prospect there. He was a steal to get at 15. Yeah, but it's interesting, though, because I feel like with the Montreal Canadiens, they have a few contract comparables that they can use to assess Cole Caufield's value at this junction in his career and in the future. I mean, it isn't uncommon to see players still in their ELC sign a long-term extension mid-season, as teams are often hesitant to give them out big contracts without being sure of the risk they're taking. We've seen other top forwards, guys like Jake Gensel and Jamie Benn, sign long-term deals in the middle of a season in the past. So, if we do see the Montreal Canadiens making some moves mid-season to kind of tweak their cap space and salary structure moving forward, that honestly wouldn't be that big of a surprise for me because at the end of the day, as I said, they're going to want to get this guy signed as soon as possible because if they don't, then they could run into some real problems. And that really gets me thinking, what do we think is a good contract extension for Cole Caufield in terms of length? Like, do we want a bridge deal or are we willing to take the risk and go for a long-term deal similar to what you did with Nick Suzuki? Personally, for me, I would take the risk on a long-term deal. I think a bridge deal, it's just a lot more complicated because you got to get them to sign not once but twice. But if you can get him on that long-term deal straight away, then you've locked him up, he's yours. And at that point, it's the time then to just really do what you can to develop this guy into the player that you imagined him to be. Because you know that, man, this is your guy. You're going to be keeping him. You better make sure that he turns out the way you wanted him to. You don't want him to bust or just completely fall out because that would just be an absolute disaster, having him locked up for 7-8 years at, a pretty high AAV for what I'm expecting. And he's just not deserving. But, personally, I would take the risk. I would go 6-7 years around there. And in terms of an AAV, that's another completely different conversation. Because, for the longer road, it's probably going to be a lot more money than if it's for a short-term deal. So if you do sign up to 7-8 years, I'd say the AAV to be around, maybe $6-7 million. I think that's pretty deserving of what he's actually, capable of right now. I'd say more $7 million. I think that's a pretty decent benchmark, but obviously you guys let me know if you agree or disagree with that contract. I would love to know your thoughts. And yeah, to summarize pretty much, I feel like the Montreal Canadiens have a pretty straightforward plan here. If they do want to re-sign Cole Caufield, they should do it as early as possible, because if they don't do that, then they could run into some real problems. That's just the thing I wanted to come on here and talk to you guys a little bit about, along with, potential AAV and salary for the guy, because I think that's another pretty interesting conversation. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll be sure to catch you guys all in the next one. Guys, we have a ton of videos coming up real soon. The NHL season is right around the corner. I have so much to share with you guys. It's going to be a ton of fun with stuff like live streams as well that I have planned, talking about games and players and trades and rumors, just everything, man. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. You do not want to miss out. And yeah, as I said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.